Welcome, Patriots, to the Raw Feed. I'm Gary Franchi, coming to you live from the Next News Network studios just outside of Chicago. And tonight, we've got 5 explosive stories that are sending shockwaves through the swamp. But before we dive in, I want to remind you that what sets us apart from every other show is that we actually interact with you, the viewers, in the live chat. And I see it's already lighting up. What's up, George Herrera, Seam Check 11, Patricia Duff, Speak Easy, Sabrina in the house. Yes, we want your reactions to today's news as it unfolds, so fire up those keyboards and let's hear from you. Now listen up. If you're watching on YouTube, we need to share the stream via text message to your friends and family. That's how we bypass big tech's algorithm. And for our ex-viewers, repost this show to your followers right now. That's right, we're streaming live to millions worldwide on YouTube, Rumble, and X. And we need you to follow us on all of those platforms because you never know when one might try to silence us. And speaking of which, yes, we will be reading your super chats and your Rumble rants between segments and featuring them on screen for the world to see. So send them in right now. Even before we get rolling, fill up the Alex Jones's right jar. We need to fill this thing up tonight. Now, you know what happened on this day in 1979? President Jimmy Carter delivered his infamous crisis of confidence speech blaming Americans for the nation's problems instead of his failed policies. Sound familiar? Well, just like then, we're witnessing government officials today trying to gaslight us while they destroy our institutions from within. From judges hiding the Epstein files to Biden's Autopen scandal to Democrats literally helping illegals escape ICE, the crisis isn't our confidence, it's their corruption. Now, if you want to support this show privately, hit those donation links in the description. Every dollar helps us stay on the air and fight back against censorship. And while you're down there, check out our merch shop at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. We've got Alligator Alcatraz, President Autopen, and our American Badass series. Yeah, pick your favorite member of the administration and wear your support proudly. Now, tonight's show is packed with bombshells. We're exposing the Republican Civil War over the Epstein files, who wants them released and who is blocking them. We'll also reveal how Biden's Autopen scandal could invalidate every pardon and executive order that he signed. You'll see which LA Councilwoman just got busted for allegedly tipping off illegals about ICE raids. We're also celebrating Trump's Supreme Court victory that's letting him fire 1,400 education bureaucrats. And believe it or not, we got some good news about getting poison dyes out of your kids' ice cream. Plus, you can join our YouTube channel memberships for exclusive perks. Each level unlocks special acknowledgement in the chat room, behind-the-scenes uploads, access to the Next News team, and our members-only 24/7 Discord chat. So hit that join button, become part of our inner circle. So the establishment thought they could keep these stories buried. They thought that you would give up and move on, forget about Epstein, ignore Biden's fake presidency, and let them wage war on our border agents. Well, they were wrong. Dead freaking wrong. Because here's what they don't understand. We're not just viewers. We are vigilant Americans who refuse to let our country slip away. When judges seal records, we demand transparency. When politicians attack ICE, we stand with law enforcement. When they try to indoctrinate our kids, we take back our schools. And when they poison our food, we force them to change. So buckle up, patriots. Pour yourself some covfefe. Silence your phones and prepare for a wild ride through the headlines they don't want you to see. This is the Raw Feed, where we slice through the spin and serve you the raw, dirty truth, no matter how spicy it gets. The revolution isn't coming. It is here, and you are watching it unfold live. So let's get after it and welcome you to the show. Yes, we see George in the house. What's up, George? Good to see you here. We got Seam Check, Patricia, Speak Easy. We got what? Not even going to try that one, but welcome. We got Jeanette, Sabrina, Chino, Patricia, Scontech, Matt, Implode, Bob. We've got SJM47, Joyce. We got Karen. What's up, Karen? Who else is in the house tonight? We've got Jim Brinkley, Sabrina, 888. The Rumblebot, as always, is here. Stephanie Dickel in the house. Guys, keep the shares rocking and rolling. We need to get these views high and hit those numbers, folks. This is how we win. Okay, but now before we get into our first topic, we now need to go to our first trivia question of the evening. I don't even know what it is yet. I haven't even looked. Okay, which year did Jeffrey Epstein first register as a sex offender after his initial conviction? Was it A, 2006, B, 2008, C, 2010, or D, 2012? I'm going to have to say 2008. I think that's when he was arrested initially. So that's my guess, and we're going to find out after this segment. Do you guys see our footage from the White House today? Yeah, we had cameras rolling when President Trump dropped bombshell after bombshell, giving you exclusive access behind the scenes, unlike any network out there. As you know, we have White House access. We are there when they are not. So this is how we roll at the Next News Network. I'm just making sure I got all my pieces of the puzzle in place as we continue to move forward. And what? What?
You said people gonna die?
No, Jar Jar. No. I didn't say that. Okay, let's go. Chaos erupted at the White House this morning when Secret Service locked down the North Lawn after someone hurled a device over the fence. Our Next News crew was there, cameras rolling as press got rushed inside. Turns out it was a cell phone, but that's not the real story. The real bombshell dropped when we caught up with the sources about the Epstein files. That's right, the Republican Party just split wide open after releasing everything. Alan Dershowitz revealed who's really blocking the truth, and it's not who you think. The scandal is ripping apart alliances and exposing a cover-up that goes way deeper than anyone imagined. And what happens next will shake Washington to its core. So keep on watching. Now, you probably think your 401k is safe, but it wasn't designed to make you wealthy. It was built to shift retirement costs and risks onto you, leaving your savings exposed to crashes, inflation, and chaos. But Americans are waking up and taking control of real assets like gold. Noble Gold Investments, my buddies over there, they've helped thousands secure their future by converting part of their 401k into a tax-advantaged gold IRA without penalties or headaches. It's safe, it's simple, it's smart. So visit nextnewsgold.com to get your free wealth protection kit. Discover how to safeguard your savings. That's nextnewsgold.com. And qualified accounts, you get 2 5-ounce silver America the Beautiful coins with a qualified account. So they are your exit from the danger zone. When you call Colin at 877-646-5347, that's the number on the screen, tell him Gary Franchi said hello. He'll love to hear from you. Okay, so our cameras were rolling today as it all went down. Check this out. This is as it all happened. Secret Service locked down the White House, press rush inside, lawn cleared, chaos erupted because someone hurled a device. Turns out it was a freaking cell phone. So our producer on site caught these images as it was happening. And he was denied access because it was too dangerous to enter. They wanted to make sure everything was safe. So the update afterwards, cameras rolling, reporters were locked in, and our boy was on site capturing some of these images of the gaggle. Now you can see right there. Take a look. Now I didn't even know this, but they're actually putting a patio on the over the Rose Garden. Personally, some people are like, what? Why are you doing that? Why are you paving over the Rose Garden? Well, with the amount of events that they host there, I mean, I've seen it. I've been there. The grass gets trampled. Anyway, this is a shot that we took from the White House today at the press gaggle. An exciting moment. You can watch the full thing uncensored and uncut on our channel. Let's go to the moment when this is Right Angle News. Secret Service locking down the White House.
Press briefing room. This area is closed. Press briefing room.
Not much of a sense of urgency from the press corps at that moment. Here's some more from that. So what we're looking at here, this is what they call Pebble Beach. Secret Service, that's where all of the reporters, they line up and they do all their live hits. You can see the Secret Service agents telling all of them to go inside. So no doubt it was a tense moment at the White House, but not as tense as it was overall in Washington, D.C. about these Epstein files, because they are tearing the country apart. Now, this is what's really interesting. Late last night, this broke. The Democrats are now calling for the release of the files. Roger Stone had this take 24 hours ago. He says Epstein's list of who's visited the island include Bill and Hillary Clinton, former Democrat Governor Bill Richardson, and former Democrat U.S. Senate Majority Leader George Mitchell. I don't think Democrats are going to be very happy when they get what they're asking for. Not on the list, Donald J. Trump. And here is Hakeem Jeffries, dime store Obama, making the demands to release the list.
Well, the truth.
Okay, but I think actually before I get to that, I really what he's basically doing here is he's responding to President Trump. Listen to this. This is our camera. This was at the White House earlier today. Trump dropping the bombshell before boarding Marine One. Says the Epstein files were made up by Comey, Obama, and Biden. Likens it to the Russia hoax. Adds Pam Bondi should release whatever she thinks is credible. Man, Trump is really doubling down on this stuff. I'm not sure why he's going to say the whole thing was made up. I mean, it was there was an arrest, and there was and people have gone to prison. All right,
it's going to be up to her. No, she's given us just a very quick briefing. And in terms of the credibility of the different things that they've seen, and I would say that, these files were made up by Comey, they were made up by Obama, they were made up by the Biden we went through years of that with the Russia hoax, with all of the different things that we had to go through. We've gone through years of it, but she's handled it very well, and it's going to be up to her. Whatever she thinks is credible, she should release. Yeah.
Handled it very well. I beg to differ, Mr. President. And check this out. Here is Hakeem Jeffries now.
And put the Jeffrey. The American people deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to this whole sordid Jeffrey Epstein matter. Democrats didn't put the Jeffrey Epstein thing into the public domain. This was a conspiracy that Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and these MAGA extremists have been fanning the flames of for the last several years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. The American people deserve to know the truth. What, if anything, is the Trump administration and the Department of Justice hiding? What are you hiding? If you're not hiding anything, prove that to the American people. And if you are trying to hide something, as many of Donald Trump's MAGA supporters apparently believe, then the Congress should actually work hard to try to uncover the truth for the American people.
Okay, so here's what I want you guys to take note here. A lot of people, they believe Donald Trump is a master strategist and that this was the ultimate end game, was to get the Democrats to call for the release. Now, I don't know if it goes that deep, if the strategy goes that far, but this apparently is happening now. Okay? Let's keep going. Did you see this? FBI's Jeffrey Epstein prison. Okay, now we know about that was 1 minute. We know there was 1 minute missing from that footage of 11 hours that they released. Now, Wired is reporting this. FBI Jeffrey Epstein prison video has nearly 3 minutes cut out. Metadata from the raw Epstein prison video shows approximately 2 minutes and 53 seconds were removed from one of two stitched together clips. The cut starts right at the missing minute. Okay, metadata now coming to light, showing that there was more than just a minute, 3 minutes cut out. And 3 minutes is more than enough time for someone to enter and exit the wing of that prison and do the job. Metadata reveals it starts, they say here, the edit right here, check this out. This is Hustle Bitch writing, the edit starts right at the moment he allegedly died. Ha! Okay, so we have that, right? So President Trump dropping bombshells. Alan Dershowitz, 22 hours ago, speaking with Fredo Cuomo, says it's not the Trump administration that's suppressing Epstein information. It's actually the judges. Now, if there's anyone that would know, it would be Alan Dershowitz, because he was Epstein's frickin' lawyer.
Is the government hiding a client list or anything that the Trump administration could release tonight?
No, there is no client list. There never has been a client list. A client list suggests that Jeffrey Epstein made a list of people to whom he trafficked women. What there is a redacted FBI affidavit from accusers. There are several of them. From accusers that accuse Jeffrey, that accuse various people of having improper sex. And that has been redacted. The names of the people accused have been blacked out. Now, of course, because I was the lawyer and I did all the investigations, I know who all these people are. I could figure out, based on everything that I saw, who Mr. X is, Mr. Y is, and Mr. Z. I can tell you right now, none of them are public figures who are currently in office. Some of them were previously. in office. Some of them are dead. But there is no client list. And the redactions could be undone if you go to court. So many of the things that are being suppressed by 2 judges in Manhattan. And they're doing it largely to protect the alleged accusers who are, in the view of the judges, victims, even though we don't know what their actual status is. But the judges have issued orders, which is why I can't disclose things I'd love to disclose, saying that you can't disclose this information. But Pam Bondi and the Justice Department and Donald Trump are not responsible for that. I don't know of any information that they could disclose that they haven't disclosed. Now, maybe there is some, but I'm simply not aware of it. And so I think it's important to place the blame where the blame deserves to be placed. The vast majority of people who are in the files, and I know them all, I've seen all the names, the vast majority of them have already been disclosed. They're in articles all over the world, they're in books that have been written. So if we got everything, you would be shocked how few names are there that haven't already been disclosed. The media hasn't, by the way, done a good enough job in finding the people who have been disclosed in the public record. So that's that list.
Okay, so that's what the list is. But, people are getting phone calls. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But here, check this out. I was kind of shocked to see this. 6 hours ago, Speaker Mike Johnson said he fully supports the DOJ releasing everything on Epstein and wants Ghislaine Maxwell to testify to Congress. I agree with Mike Johnson.
Great job. I haven't talked to...
And, of course, they call in Benny Johnson.
Marjorie or Anna about that specific subject, but I'm for transparency. We're intellectually consistent in this. Look, Reagan used to tell us we should trust the American people. I believe in that principle. I know President Trump does as well, and I trust him. I mean, he put together a team of his choosing, and they're doing a great job. It's a very delicate subject, but we should put everything out there and let the people decide it. I mean, the White House and the White House team are privy to facts that I don't know. I mean, this isn't my lane. I haven't been involved in that. But I agree with the sentiment that we need to put it out there. And Pam Bondi, I don't know, when she originally made the statement, I think she was talking about documents, as I understood it, they were on her desk. I don't know that she was specific about a list or whatever, but she needs to come
forward. She was specific about a list, Mike.
And explain that to everybody. I like Pam. I mean, I think she's done a good job. We need the DOJ focusing on the major priorities. So let's get this thing resolved so that they can deal with violent crime and public safety and election integrity and going after Act Blue and the things that the president is most concerned about, as we are.
Let's get it resolved. Okay, we got the midterms ahead of us, and we cannot let this fester, okay, like cancer, and tear the GOP apart.
So I'm anxious to get this behind us.
Yeah, so am I. Okay, so phone calls have apparently been made. I've got a video here from Tim Burchett. This is wild, too. Check this out. Here is... Okay, I want to get to... Okay, here's Charlie Kirk. This is so bizarre. And I took Charlie Kirk to task on X over this whole thing. But you take a listen.
Balls in there. Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being.
Done talking about Epstein. So, sounds like he got a phone call. Oh, who else got a phone call? Oh, yes, Luke Rudkowski writes, looks like Dinesh got a call.
I'm going to talk about the Epstein files, and I'm going to make the case that even though there are unanswered questions about Epstein, it is in fact time to move on. Part of being on a political team is maintaining a certain amount of maturity, recognizing you can't win them all, recognizing there are some things that are important to you that are less important to the guy that you've put in charge, who is trying to focus on things right in front of him. And so having a sense of perspective, having a sense of balance, having a sense of maturity, I think is more important even than getting to the bottom of what really happened with Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there's Dinish's take. But where's my take? I did give a pretty brutal take here. But let's go to Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, debunking fake news. House Republicans unanimously voted to block the release of the Epstein files.
Block the release of that. I got to correct something real quick.
Please.
So it's being reported that House Republicans unanimously voted to block the release of the Epstein files, and I want to straighten out the record right now. That is not true. If I could vote, okay. If I could vote to release the Epstein files, guys, you would have my vote. I would vote yes. Here's what just happened. It was a procedural vote, and we have these all the time. It's called a PQ. It's voting on the previous question. And if the Democrats had won the previous question, which I know sounds insane, it's one of these crazy rules in the House that are hard to understand, that means they would control the House floor. And that means they could bring up anything. They could bring up impeachment articles against President Trump. They could bring up a whole package of insane Democrat agenda items and force votes on the House floor on these things. That's what we voted against. We never allowed Democrats to have control of the House floor because we control the House floor.
Yes.
So it's a misunderstanding, and I just wanted to straighten that out. I got
Okay, so the whole Democrats who were calling to release the Epstein files in the video that we played last night. I think I have it here somewhere. I believe I do. I'll have to find it. So they just kind of stuffed it in. They stuffed it in with some procedural stuff, and that's why the Republicans voted against it. Okay, so here's Blair White saying, no, I won't let the Epstein files go. In fact, I'll interview an Epstein survivor, Juliette Bryant, and expose everyone and everything. Oh, boy.
6 people, and they were all there. Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, Kevin Spacey, Chris Tucker. And I couldn't move. I was like paralyzed and I was naked and I couldn't move. I couldn't talk. So he sort of used to see how far he could sort of push people, I guess. Sorry, I get anxious about this. Yeah. When we were taken to his bedroom, it was always pitch dark and ice cold. Waking up in a laboratory with 6 people in hazmat suits around me.
How do you feel about the Trump administration's statements this week about Epstein?
I think it's horrific, actually, especially when Trump gained presidency promising the list. He told me he worked with CIA. He told me he had my family's name on a list.
It was the government doing it, so you can't really get the government to tell on itself.
A lot of people want to judge girls who were taken there and stuff, but they don't know what it's like being kidnapped by the most evil people in the world.
Todd, see if you can find that Ro Khanna clip. I thought we had it in here today. Let's keep going. We have here from Representative Tim Burchett says we should publicly, whoever was involved in the crimes, says he doesn't believe the Trump DOJ.
Big on clarity.
Should there be an investigation or a special counsel investigation?
I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I just find them guilty and hang them publicly. I mean, that's not over the top either. I'm ready. I'm over it. It disgusts me. I'm big on clarity and transparency, and you know, that's good reason people don't trust government, either party.
But you don't believe what the Justice Department is saying?
I don't know. You know, I don't. I don't trust them.
Should there be an investigation?
Let's keep going here. Let's keep going right along the list. I thought we had more. For some reason, sometimes these tweets don't always load correctly. Okay, what do we have here? This is Republicans blocking the release of the Epstein files. Okay, and of course, Marjorie Taylor Greene just explained what happened. Listen.
I will. Hearing none, the question's on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. No. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. The amendment's not agreed to.
Chair, I'm kind of shocked by that. I will ask for a roll call.
The clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Fishbach? No. Mrs. Fishbach, no. Mr. Norman? Yes. Mr. Norman, aye. Mr. Roy? Mrs. Houchin? Mrs. Houchin, no. Mr. Langworthy? Mr. Langworthy, no. Mr. Scott? Mr. Scott, no. Mr. Griffith? Mr. Griffith, no. Mr. Jack?
No.
Mr. Jack, no. Mr. McGovern?
Aye.
Mr. McGovern, aye. Ms. Scanlon? Yes. Ms. Scanlon, aye. Mr. Neguse?
Yes.
Mr. Neguse, aye. Ms. Ledger-Fernandez? Ms. Ledger-Fernandez, aye. Madam Chair?
No.
Madam Chair, no.
The clerk will report the total.
5 yeas, 7 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. And I think most of us believe what's appropriate will be released when it is time for the president to release it.
Well, Madam,
Thank you. Hearing none, the question.
Okay, so let's go back to what we have with the Ro Khanna clip here. This is what I was looking for. Okay, Ro Khanna, suddenly, we played this last night, but check it out.
Full release. Mr. Speaker, I introduced today an amendment demanding the full release of the Epstein files. The Speaker's Rules Committee should demand a vote tomorrow of every member of Congress. Yes, we should release it, or no, we should not. This is a question of whose side are you on? Are you on the side of protecting the rich and the powerful who've put their thumb on the scales of government to suck out millions of dollars while working class Americans suffer? Or are you on the side of the people? The Attorney General said on her desk was the Epstein file. And now she's saying, no, 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 nothing to see, don't release it. This is a question of trust. We need to release the Epstein files so we can restore government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And every member of Congress tomorrow should be forced to vote on this amendment.
And you saw exactly how that vote went down. Now, okay, so here's my take on Charlie Kirk, okay? He says, I'm done talking about Epstein. Translation, Trump told Charlie Kirk to sit down, shut up, and get back in line. So another guy who led the charge for transparency is suddenly pledging blind trust in government. What a pathetic bootlicking retreat. Sorry, Charlie, I love you, but, I got to call it as I see it, okay? Here is more from Ro Khanna. 20 hours ago, U.S. House Democrat from California demands the release of the Epstein files.
Situation joining us now, the member of Congress who forced that vote, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna of California. Congressman, kind of give us the latest situation with the House Rules Committee.
Well, it's very disappointing. I had a very simple amendment that the full Epstein files should be released. It went for a vote to the House Rules Committee. Jim McGovern, who is the ranking member for House Democrats, made sure that all 4 Democrats voted for the release. Ralph Norman, a Republican, actually joined with the Democrats, saying that there should be a vote on the full release. Chip Roy didn't show up for the vote, but 7 other Republicans blocked it. So as of now, there is going to be no vote tomorrow, up or down vote on whether the Epstein files should be released.
And this was the first stage of your attempt to get a full vote by the House of Representatives, to see a full recorded vote. Everyone could see how their member of Congress voted on this issue. And that's what was blocked by the Rules Committee, not allowing you to get to that stage on the floor. Why would it be important to have that recorded vote on the floor?
Well, in a very simple way, we should see whose side are you on. That's really what this Epstein file issue has become. It's not just about knowing who's being protected, the rich and the powerful, in terms of who had interaction with Jeffrey Epstein. It's the sense that people have that the government is too beholden to certain interests who have their thumb on the scale, and that they're not working for ordinary people. And what the Democrats are saying is we want to make sure that we get full justice here, that we get full transparency. And this may have...
Well, it's what's wild. I think we can all come together on this, right? I mean, we can finally have a bipartisan matter that we all agree on. This was the big story today that Marjorie Taylor Greene was responding to. House Republicans blocked a proposal to force the DOJ to release the full Epstein files, including the client list and all sealed records. The amendment was buried inside a cryptocurrency bill, and they killed it. This is not coming from left-wing media. This is Republican blocking transparency on Jeffrey Epstein, and it gets worse. Pam Bondi's DOJ originally said the list was real. Then after public backlash, they reversed course, claimed the list didn't exist, and closed the case, citing what happened, claiming he did what he did to himself in that cell. Of course, that triggered the MAGA civil war. Bongino nearly resigned. Bannon is warning that Trump could lose 40 House seats over this. Alex Jones calling it a self-inflicted political wound. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell has been asked to testify, or has asked to testify. The DOJ won't allow it. Republicans are the ones blocking her. And according to CNN polling, citing in the article, only 3% of Americans believe the DOJ has been fully transparent. Charlie Kirk is now saying that I'm done talking about Epstein, the same guy who demanded the list 2 weeks ago. Laura Trump tried damage control with Benny Johnson, awkwardly claiming more transparency might be coming, but MAGA isn't buying it. Bottom line, the Trump DOJ reversed itself. The client list is being buried. MAGA influencers are turning on each other. Republican establishment just shielded the Epstein network. There are no excuses left, no more misdirection, no more trust the plan. The plan just collapsed in broad daylight. And I am, of course, citing the Guardian article. So why does this matter? It matters because while we were covering a fake bomb scare at the White House, the real explosion was happening behind closed doors. Okay? The Epstein scandal isn't about an entire blackmail. It's about an entire blackmail operation controlling our government. When Dershowitz admits judges are blocking the files, and not Trump, we're seeing judicial corruption at its worst. Mike Johnson demanding full release, and Maxwell's testimony. Tim Burchett wants public executions, but others are playing games with procedural votes to keep America in the dark. So our team was there when Trump emerged unfazed from the chaos, but the real chaos is this cover-up. So here is the question. Do you believe that current members of Congress are on the Epstein client list, and that is why they don't want it out? Yes or no? Hit the comments. Until every name is exposed, until every video surfaces, this cancer keeps spreading. So check out our merch shop down below and wear your defiance proudly. The reckoning is here. All right. So where are we now? Let's go into our... I think we had some super chats that came through. Gary's a coattail rider. Eat a dick. All right, let's see here. Super chat. Curio23. What do you call a guy who... Oh, I'm not reading that. You guys can read it, okay? You're Curio? All right. $5 he spent to say that joke. There are some things I do cross the line on. You know, I mean, I do get a little colorful sometimes, but that one, just not going to do it. All right. Where are we? Yeah. After I just replied to that guy in the chat room. How funny is that? Okay. Where are we going from here? All right. We got some more news, and we got to get to our answer for question. Okay. What did you guys say? You said B 2008. Epstein pleaded guilty and registered as a level 3 sex offender in 2008. Another super chat from Tom B420 dropping $5. Thank you, sir, for that. Let's see what else. Okay, so let's go to our next question here. Tom B420 says, thanks, Gary and team. Well, we thank you, sir, for that. Okay, let's fill up this jar today. I just stopped taking out the funny money. All right, trivia question. What year did the FBI officially launch COINTELPRO to surveil and disrupt domestic groups? Was it 1956, 1962, 1968, or 1971? Officially launched COINTELPRO. When was COINTELPRO launched? Wow. Oh, 60. I'm going to say 68. I'm going to say 68. I think that's when a lot of heat was coming on from the Vietnam War. So we've got that. But let's get into our next topic of the evening here. FBI Director Kash Patel just lit the fuse on the biggest investigation in decades, a grand criminal conspiracy probe that reaches all the way back to Obama's intelligence chiefs. We're talking Brennan, Clapper, Comey, and the whole gang. And here's the kicker. This probe circumvents the statute of limitations, so nobody's safe and nobody's protected by time. At the same moment, questions are swirling about Biden's official acts and whether they're valid, and the timing is not a coincidence. The deep state's darkest secrets are about to be dragged into the light. What Patel uncovered will expose a decade of weaponization that makes Watergate look like jaywalking. This is the reckoning they feared would come. So keep on watching. Now, the establishment thought they could bury the truth forever. But freedom is never more than one generation from extinction. And that's why the Tuttle twins created the most effective liberty-first content for kids. Their monthly magazine teaches children about economics, liberty, and responsibility through comics, activities, and real-world lessons. While Kash Patel exposes how the deep state corrupted our institutions, you can ensure your kids understand what real American values look like. Right now, subscribe a loved one, a granddaughter, a grandson, a niece, a nephew, your kids, for just $56 a year. It's pennies. Go to TuttleTwins.com/next. Don't let your child be indoctrinated by the same system that created this mess. Teach them to think for themselves. TuttleTwins.com/next. Or you can just scan that QR code on the screen. Hit pause, scan it, and go right there. But make sure you come back. All right. So let's continue where we are at. Hawley now demanding answers on Biden's Autopen scandal, talking with Steve Bannon. Check this out.
Over this Autopen situation, it's just becoming now front page news. What in the hell's going on, and what can you do about it?
Well, what needs to happen, a couple things. I mean, first of all, we need to call the person. We now have the name of the person who managed the Autopen under Biden. I believe the individual is a woman. She needs to be called before Congress, put under oath, testify in public. We need to hear from her. We need to know exactly what did he authorize, when did he authorize it. I suspect the truth is, Steve, he didn't authorize anything, which would be like the scandal of the century. We need to know that. Number two, there is supposed to be a paper trail. You know, we had a hearing on this in the Senate a couple of weeks ago. To me, the big revelation out of that hearing was every time the Autopen is used, there's supposed to be an explicit paper trail. The president has to, at a minimum, give verbal consent to use it, and a record is made of that. So let's get all the documents. Let's see them. They should be in Biden's archives. They ought to be in his papers. We need to go get them. If Biden's not going to release them voluntarily, Congress ought to subpoena those documents and get them and put them out in public. Where's the paper trail? Who authorized the use of the pen? That's what we need to be getting after.
Well, we know that Jeff Zients was named in the New York Times article after they interviewed Joe Biden. So that is just the tip of the iceberg. And here we have Victor David Hansen. I love this guy. It was a total indictment, Victor David Hansen obliterating the former CIA director John Brennan as fresh investigations into his actions take a dark turn. He laid out 3 damning examples of lies and hoaxes that expose the real Brennan. Let's dive into this real quick here. Here he is laying out the case bluntly.
Department. Recently, Pam Bondi and the Trump Department of Justice has said they are running an investigation into James Comey and John Brennan's career as the respective FBI director and the CIA head during the Obama administration, and in the case of Comey, the first year of the Trump administration. They are very angry about this, but let's just review why there might be some culpability. Take John Brennan. He was a big a proponent of waterboarding and enhanced interrogation under George W. Bush's administration and the things that went on in Guantanamo. I'm not going to comment on whether they were right or wrong, but he flipped to condition himself to go into the Obama administration, and then he attacked the very president that he had served, George Bush. Then he began sounding off about Islam, religion of peace, jihadism is not a violent act, to condition himself further to be appointed by Obama, which he was, eventually as CIA director. Recently...
Continuing with the thread here from Vigilant Fox, one of those lies he argued was meant to cover for Obama's drone war.
There wasn't one, but then he started lying. He always probably lied, but flagrantly so. He said before Congress and the media there wasn't one civilian killed by Obama's targeted assassination program via predators on the Afghan or Pakistan border. Actually, there were 50 or 75 innocent people we killed. He was caught in that lie. 3 years later, he went before the Congress, and there was information that he had been tapping his CIA, the staffers for the Senate, to get into their computer. He not only lied about it, he did so emphatic. We would never do that. That's horrible. Then he was forced to say, yes, I lied.
Wow.
In both cases, there were no perjury charges, nothing.
But then time for perjury charges. Keep going here. Hansen argued Brennan's pattern didn't stop there. It reached its most destructive point during the 2020 election.
Critical the piece of resistance for John Brennan was in October 2020, on the eve of the second and critical presidential debate. Joe Biden was in trouble. People were furious about this laptop. There was pornography on it. There was drug use. There was references to Joe Biden as Mr. Big Guy, 10% that he'd been giving money. He was crooked. People wanted to hear. He had no excuse. So what happened? Anthony Blinken, his future Secretary of State, campaign aide, called Michael Morrell, interim CIA director at one point, said, round them up. So 51 quote-unquote intelligence authorities swore that the laptop had all the hallmarks of Russian information. Notice the words, all the hallmarks, escape clause, of Russian information, not disinformation. But that's what they meant. So what happened in the debate? Trump went right after Biden and said that laptop is real. It shows that you're a crook. It shows that your son is a miscreant. And Joe Biden's, how dare you? 51 intelligence authorities swear that it's a product of Russian espionage. Only you and Rudy Giuliani believe that. And it was effective. Later, a poll showed, the Technometrica poll showed that if people had known that it had been authenticated, and by the way, that laptop was sitting in the hands of the FBI and adjudicated to be authentic and not released to the public at a time when James Comey's Christopher Wray's FBI was partnering with Twitter and Facebook to suppress any news story that was accurately reporting that the laptop was authentic.
Send them all to prison. Here's more from Victor David Hansen.
John Brennan finally accused Donald Trump of being a Russian traitor. He said that after Donald Trump spoke in Helsinki about Russian-American relationships. He said that he is treasonous. When he said that, I think we all thought, well, wait a minute. Donald Trump killed the Wagner Group in Syria. He upped the sanctions on the oligarchs. He approved offensive weapons to Ukraine that Obama had canceled. Russia didn't go into Ukraine under the Trump administration. It had invaded Ossetia under Bush. It went under Ukraine under both Biden and Obama, but not under Trump. He told the Germans, don't cut a deal with Putin on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. He got out of an asymmetrical missile deal. He was the hardest president that we've had against Russia. John Brennan finally...
So here's more. His final argument was merciless against the former CIA director.
Significant scandals. So what was John Brennan doing? Here's what he was doing. In 2 or 3 of the most significant scandals of the last 50 years, he was at the center. You could make the argument that the Russian collusion hoax almost swung the election to Hillary Clinton. You could argue that. You could argue that the Mueller investigation, based on that stupid dossier, cost Donald Trump 22 months of his first 2 years in office, $40 million to find nothing. You could make the argument that if the FBI had just released its investigation of the laptop, told the people it was authentic, John Brennan would not and his cohorts been able to lie to the American people that it was cooked up in Russia and that Donald Trump was complicit in that. That disclosure, that failure to disclose the true nature of that laptop, thanks to John Brennan and 51 intelligence authorities and the debate by Joe Biden and the false charges, may have affected the election. As I said, one polling company found that it did. And finally, we wouldn't be in this big trouble about the Ukraine war and Russia had John Brennan and people like him not floated the spurious narrative that Donald Trump was working hand in glove with Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin, Russia, Russia, Russia. That colored and poisoned the whole relationship we had with Russia. It affected the Russian-Ukrainian war, and it was all a lie. And so here we are with John Brennan mad that he lost his security clearance for being a well-paid MSNBC analyst. He should be better worried, not that he lost his security clearance, that that he might be indicted and go to jail, he's got a lot of culpability, both in not telling the truth and spinning lies and being at the heart of a number of scandals that affected the history of the United States. So what was...
Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go. I am all for it. Here we have 24 hours ago, the FBI under Director Kash Patel has opened a grand conspiracy probe into a decade of DOJ intel weaponization, including Clinton's email scandal, Russiagate, 2020 election meddling. This opens the door to special prosecutor and criminal charges. Boom. FBI grand conspiracy probe on weaponization has begun. Okay, now that was from Just the News. John Solomon is the author of that. Here's John Solomon talking with Steve Bannon about the grand conspiracy case.
So, John, we broke you broke on our show on Friday, the extended version, this situation about the FBI looking at going after the deep state on a host of things, going back to the beginning of Crossfire Hurricane before Trump was president, going into the nullification project and the Russia hoax, including the impeachment and the perfect phone call, doing maybe potentially the 2020 election, the J6, a whole raft of things. You've got additional reporting. Can you get us up to speed on this? And are we close? How much effort did the FBI have to put into this investigation before we actually announce a special counsel, sir?
Yeah, listen, I think there's enough evidence already there that they could name a special counsel as early this week. It's really just up to Pam Bondi. This is an opportunity for her to change the subject from Epstein to something that is perhaps more consequential to the American people long term. And they can clean up Epstein with someone else, perhaps. Secondly, their evidence is all laying out in public view except for two highly classified pieces of intelligence. One is in the Inspector General report on Hillary Clinton's email that reveals that the United States intelligence community got new evidence of possible criminality in the Hillary Clinton email scandal, but did not pursue it just before James Comey cleared her of all criminal wrongdoing. That has stayed secret for 8 years. Chuck Grassley, the Senate Judiciary Committee chairman, has been relentlessly pursuing it. He has President Trump's ear. I think that's going to get declassified in the next few days. That will show that there was reason to pursue Hillary Clinton, not clear her, and not pursue Donald Trump. They should have not ever investigated him for Russia collusion. The second piece of classified evidence that could be released is referred to by John Durham as the Clinton Plan intelligence. It's an intercept 5 days before the FBI opened up on Crossfire Hurricane that Hillary Clinton was about to concoct a Russian scandal and try to pretend that Vladimir Putin was helping Donald Trump win the election. That means that the CIA, the FBI, and President Obama himself personally was aware that what Hillary Clinton was doing was a ruse, a political dirty trick, and still James Comey's FBI opened up on the information. If those two pieces of evidence get declassified so grand jurors can see it, Pam Bondi names a special prosecutor, we could be rolling by the end of this week.
End of this week. Part of this, because you had Durham, you had all this, you reported extensively. Part of this is not going to be just what they tried to do to President Trump. But isn't a big part of this also going to be the cover-up? Because you had Durham, you had people, but it looks like obviously now information was specifically buried. Either people lied, perjured themselves, or buried information. Because this stuff should have come out. I mean, this is the whole purpose of Durham and these other things. This should have come out, and even these House investigations, this should have come out years ago, correct?
Yeah, listen, look at the China interference in the 2020 election. That allegation, that was buried until just a few weeks ago. Remember, Kash Patel said when he got in there, he found this room full of documents that were never released to Congress, mostly on Russiagate. That is a whole new tranche. So the cover-up, as it often is, can be a big part of the scandal, and it could be a part of the ongoing conspiracy as the FBI looks at this. They're looking at it as one grand conspiracy, that a constant pattern of clearing Democrats of criminal wrongdoing in the face of criminal wrongdoing.
Hey, John.
Holy cow, man. Next week, special prosecutor? Wait a minute. Who was just called up? Where are the whispers about a special prosecutor? Matt Gaetz? Could he be coming in to special prosecute this and not the Epstein case? Holy cow. The pieces of the puzzle are coming together. Here we have more Kash Patel launching grand criminal conspiracy probe targeting Obama. Brennan, Clapper, Comey, targeting the decades-long weaponization of the federal government. New report, Department of Justice might appoint special prosecutor for possible criminal grand conspiracy case. Oh, man. Obama, Clapper, Brennan, Comey, they are all shitting their pants right now. Oh, we've got more. Oh, John Solomon went on with Fox News. Holy cow. With James Comer even. Let's listen. Get your popcorn.
Conspiracy, but what I'm reading in your piece tells me that starting with Russia, and the Russia hoax, all the way through Jack Smith, we're talking about every incident of weaponization used against Donald Trump and how it could be part of a broader, grander conspiracy theory, a conspiracy that actually took place and law-breaking involved in it. And that also the statute of limitations would not be applicable in this case as a result. And this would include names like Comey and Clapper and Brennan. Take it from there.
Yeah, and
come on, don't leave out Obama.
Obama too, because he was in on these early meetings. So what the FBI has,
and that also the statute of limitations would not be applicable in this case as a result. And this would include names like Comey and Clapper and Brennan. Take it from there.
Yeah, and Barack Obama, too, because he was in on these early meetings. So what the FBI has done is treated the last decade of weaponization, all the great work that James Comer has turned up through his oversight committee, and put it into a timetable and said, this looks like an ongoing conspiracy, a wash, rinse, repeat cycle of Democrat gets in legal trouble. Hillary Clinton in her email case, Hunter Biden with his taxes, Joe Biden with his classified documents. They're let off the hook even when there is extraordinary evidence suggesting they shouldn't be left off the hook. And then a parallel track occurs where the Republican, in this case Donald Trump, is investigated falsely for things like Russia collusion, Ukrainian interference, his own documents at his home in Mar-a-Lago. This is a criminal conspiracy. By treating it as a conspiracy, you eliminate the 5-year statutes on individual crimes. If something happened in 2016, but it was part of an ongoing conspiracy that continued with Jack Smith raiding Donald Trump's home at Mar-a-Lago, it can be charged in the larger conspiracy, even though if you tried to charge it in an individual case, you wouldn't get it. Furthermore, you could also change the venue. Remember the troubles John Durham had bringing prosecutions to Washington, D.C.? Jurors wouldn't convict, even if they thought there was criminality going on. In this case, you could pick a place like Florida, where Jack Smith did the raid on Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago house, and say that's where we're putting the grand jury. You get a more fair jury pool, a more fair grand jury pool. It gives Pam Bondi, Attorney General, an enormous amount of flexibility to do something historic, finally bring some accountability for all the things that Chairman Comer and Chairman Johnson, Chairman Grassley, Chairman Jordan have brought and proved to the American people.
Well, hell, that would save a lot of face for Pam Bondi, wouldn't you say? I mean, can we walk and chew gum at the same time, Pam? All right, let's see. Well, she is a blonde. So, anyway, let's hear what James Comer had to say.
I think it would be a hard pitch in front of a court of law to try to defend what Joe Biden just admitted to the New York Times, that he didn't know exactly who all was getting pardons or not. He didn't know who was being pardoned with the use of his Autopen. And that's the whole basis of this investigation. This is just the pardons. What about the executive orders? I mean, there was no process that we have found thus far, and we've brought in 4 people thus far in our interviews and depositions, no defined process by which Joe Biden was the one saying, yes, use this Autopen to sign my name on this pardon or this executive order. I mean, Sean, we're just talking about signing your name, one signature. So it doesn't even take into account whether or not he was mentally able to understand what he was even signing. So this is bad, and I think this puts all of those pardons in peril from the Biden administration.
Yeah, baby. It certainly does. The grand conspiracy investigation has begun. If you got value from this report, hit subscribe. My final thought is next. This investigation changes everything. When Kash Patel opens a grand criminal conspiracy probe that bypasses the statute of limitations, he's sending a message. Nobody escapes justice. Not Brennan, who Victor David Hansen just destroyed with 3 documented lies. Not Clapper, who lied to Congress about surveillance. Not Comey, who leaked classified memos. Not even Obama, if the evidence leads there. The Mar-a-Lago raid that Jack Smith orchestrated, well, that just gave Patel jurisdiction to move it to Florida for a fair trial. Meanwhile, serious questions about Biden's presidency are emerging that could invalidate major decisions. This is the deep state's nightmare scenario, a real investigation with teeth. So here's the question. Should Obama administration officials face prosecution for weaponizing intelligence agencies? Yes or no? That's all I want to hear. Yes or no? Sound off below. So the cover-up of that lasted a decade. It lasted a decade, but the truth finally breaking free. Grab your merch at the link and show where you stand, because justice delayed isn't justice denied anymore. We got Alligator Alcatraz, President Autopen, Mega Avengers, and you can pick your favorite member of the administration in our American Badass collection. Check it out. Trigger Liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay. Elf of Courage. I know, I feel you, man. I do. $9.99, $10. FBI opens grand conspiracy investigation. Who actually thinks the FBI is going to do anything? Well, they have a lot of making up to do after that Epstein mess. Hopefully they'll get this one right. All right, so let's go check out our answer in the... Let's see, you guys said it was 1956. Really? I got it wrong.
How dare you?
Sorry, Greta. You guys got it right, though. Yeah, I should know better, guys. I should know better.
How dare you?
1956, the FBI launched COINTELPRO under J. Edgar Hoover to infiltrate political organizations. I thought it was because of the Vietnam War. But, man, 1956. Damn. Okay, let's go to our next trivia question of the evening before our next segment. In what year did the first sanctuary city resolution pass in the United States? A, 1979, B, 1985, D, 1989, or D, 1992? Sanctuary city. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say 92. Shot in the dark. 92. What do you guys say? Weigh in the comments, in the chat, or in the poll. You guys are all saying 92 as well. I mean, don't follow my lead, okay? Just because I'm the host here doesn't mean I know everything. All right. Now, we got some more news. Lots more news. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere at all. Okay. An LA City Councilwoman just got caught red-handed in an act so brazen even the mainstream media can't ignore it. She allegedly asked police to tip off illegals before ICE raids, and now she's facing DOJ charges. And this is just the beginning. What started as rhetoric has become all-out war on federal law enforcement. Democrats from Congress to City Hall are openly sabotaging federal immigration enforcement. They're not just calling ICE agents Nazi and Gestapo, they're actively helping criminals escape. One representative was already charged with physically blocking federal officers. More arrests are coming, and it's about damn time. The gloves are off. The law is winning. And this is what accountability looks like. So keep watching. You don't want to miss this. And while Democrats attack ICE agents as Gestapo and thugs, these same politicians are aging before our eyes from the stress of their lies. But we can fight aging naturally. As we age, our body's collagen production declines, leading to wrinkles and sagging skin and visible stress lines. By our 40s, collagen drops significantly. That's why I use Ageless Multi-Collagen. Can you tell? 5 key types of collagen from 4 premium sources, hydrolyzed for easy absorption. No clumping, no odor or taste, just results. Unlike toxic policies destroying our border, this is clean. No GMOs, artificial ingredients, gluten, antibiotics, or hormones, just pure collagen support. Visit healthwithgary.com for 51% off, free shipping, and a 60-day guarantee. Look as strong as you feel fighting for America. It's linked in the description. Okay, now, before we get into the crazy, we got some awesome footage that we shot at the White House today. Donald Trump roasting AOC and Jasmine Crockett before boarding Air Force One. It was brutal.
Yes. You know, AOC, look, I think she's very nice, but she's very low IQ. And we really don't need low IQ. Between her and Crockett, we're going to give them both an IQ test to see who comes out best. Now, I took my test. I took a real test at Walter Reed Medical Center, and I aced it. I got every one of all those questions right. Now it's time for them to take a test. Anyway, have a good time. You know, AOC, look.
AOC gets roasted. Low IQ. And speaking of losers, alleged gunman in shootings of Minnesota lawmaker claims that Governor Walz ordered him to kill Senator Klobuchar so he could claim her Senate seat. This is just breaking news right now.
Believe that those Belcher says Governor Tim Walz ordered him to kill Minnesota senators. He claims it was part of a conspiracy to get the governor elected to the U.S. Senate. The U.S. attorney today said he wasn't sure if Belcher believed that delusion or wrote this to try and excuse his crimes. Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were killed in their home in the early hours of June 14th. Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were shot more than a dozen times between the two of them. And we learned today their daughter Hope Hoffman was incredibly close to becoming a fifth victim.
Both John and Yvette acted with incredible bravery to put themselves between Belter's bullets and their daughter. Miraculously, Hope Hoffman was not shot, but she was the 5th intended victim of Vance Belter that night.
And new at 6, Hope Hoffman expressed the relief she feels today with this indictment, but also the PTSD she's been dealing with after watching her parents get shot in front of her. In a statement, she said, "My parents pushed me out the way that night. How I didn't get grazed is nothing short of dumb luck. My parents saved me. We saved each other." Those Belcher says Governor.
If that's true, I mean, it could just be delusion, like they mentioned. But that's what he's claiming. Governor Walz ordered him to kill Senator Klobuchar. Now, let's go to our L.A. City Councilwoman, Imelda Padilla. She asked LAPD to provide where ICE agents were going to be in advance of their apprehension of illegals. She's facing state ethics violation, possible charges by the DOJ. The media is ignoring this.
Can warn us. I'm asking a creativity question here. What can your department do to do more to warn us, to warn the business community that outside of our LA borders, coming in from Inglewood, coming in from Antelope Valley, I don't know, you can warn us so that we can warn our folks in the spirit of your loyalty to the city of Los Angeles?
So you're asking me to warn you about an enforcement action being taken by another agency before it happens?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Why not?
That would be obstruction of justice. You may want to talk to the city attorney about that.
Where's the city attorney? Aren't they here? I see her officers. Where's she?
We'll hear from the city attorney after we hear from LAPD. We can revisit it then.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, they're en route. We know they're coming. We know they're coming to bring disruption. There's no way that we can know.
No, I don't know how to even respond to that.
Wasn't she just here? Who took her? Where did she go?
We'll come back. She had to attend to some other business, but we can come back. We'll give you the opportunity to ask her that question.
I need to know.
Yeah, we don't do that. We're not gonna broadcast for, like, the FBI is looking for a terrorist suspect, say, right? Are we going to tell, hey, the FBI's coming looking for you?
Yeah, but see, there's a difference between
there's a
someone's
difference,
coming
but I'm
because they're
using
going to, go get.
I'm using that as an example, but no, we're not allowed to do that. That would be completely inappropriate and illegal.
Is she coming?
She'll come late. She'll come after. We will.
I'm asking.
So, yeah. She asked where now she's facing a state ethics violation, possible charges by the DOJ. Here we have more. Rapid Response 47, Representative Jeffries, who implores people to fight the Trump administration in the streets and declares ICE agents will be unsuccessful in protecting their identities no matter what it takes. Listen.
We are going to fight it legislatively. We are going to fight it in the courts. And we're going to fight it in the streets. We are going to...
This aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified. Every single...
You're going to identify... You want to unmask ICE agents. Why? Why would you want to do that? I mean, what would possibly be your motivation? Oh, maybe this.
Agents, what is deranged and cruel and outrageous is that literally we are seeing ICE agents. I assume they're ICE agents. They say they are. They don't have any identification. They're wearing masks. They're in plain clothes. They are coming and kidnapping and disappearing people. What is
Representative Jayapal? They're kidnapping, and no, they're not kidnapping. They're taking criminals into custody who've broken the law. Here's more. Here's Representative LaMonica, who was charged with forcibly impeding and interfering with federal officers, who incites her supporters to shut down the city because we are at war.
We will not take this. We will fight back. Fight back. Fight back. And as I close out, because I know we've been out here for a long time, and goddamn it, shut down the city. We are at war. Anytime a person can pay $250 million into a campaign and they be given full access to the Department of Treasury of the United States of America, we are at war.
Wow. Unhinged all around. Oh, speaking of Tim Walz, remember when he said this?
Folks up off the... Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo is scooping folks up off the streets. They're in unmarked vans, wearing masks, being shipped off to foreign torture dungeons. No chance to mount a defense, not even a chance to kiss a loved one goodbye, just grabbed up by masked agents, shoved into those vans, and disappeared. To be clear, there's no way for us to know whether they were actually criminals or not, because they refused to give them a trial. We're supposed to just take their word for it. And when duly elected members of Congress tried to exercise their constitutional right of oversight at an ICE facility, they get shoved around and threatened with arrest. And when courts told them repeatedly to knock it off, they brazenly defy them. Donald Trump's modern-day Gestapo...
Yeah, defying the courts. Cool. Here's Mayor Wu comparing ICE agents to the neo-Nazi group NSC 131.
I don't know of any police department that routinely wears masks. We know that there are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 130.
Who, like Antifa? Like they wear masks, don't they? Or like, remember the BLM riots? Weren't they all wearing masks too? Oh, yeah.
There are other groups that routinely wear masks. NSC 131 routinely wears masks.
Mayor, just to clarify, are you comparing ICE, you said, to NSC 131, the neo-Nazi group? Are you comparing them to a neo-Nazi group?
What I said is that Boston Police and no police department that I know of at the local level routinely wears masks. I don't know of
No, you
any
actually compared them to Nazis. Yeah, so don't try to like weasel your way out. Here's Representative Kwesi Mfume challenges the Trump administration to a street fight.
Yes, we will. This will be a congressional fight.
a constitutional fight, a legal fight, and on days like this, a street fight. Yes, we will stand.
Or kind of like days that we had in Los Angeles a little while ago, or Chicago, or Houston, or Atlanta. Remember that? Yeah. Those are the street fights, right? Here's Representative Stephen Lynch spearing ICE agents. This is the rhetoric of the left, okay? This is the leadership, folks. I'm playing for you this because we need to identify the language of the left so that these people can be held accountable when our cities burn.
And though the Trump administration has tried to sweep aside the fact that this pattern of mass deportation operation is letting dangerous criminals roam free while it picks off peaceful, contributing members of our communities. Busboys at restaurants, day laborers at Home Depot, parents who are taking their kids to school. In late March, ICE agents wearing masks and hoodies detained Rumeysa Öztürk. And those of you who watched that abduction, when you compare the old films of the Gestapo grabbing people off the streets of Poland, and you compare them to those nondescript thugs who grabbed that graduate student, it does look like a Gestapo operation. It does look like the Gestapo. The Trump administration has tried to sweep...
It looks like a Gestapo. Well, sometimes you just got to use tactics that are going to remove the criminals from our streets. You don't like the fact that they got a mask on? Maybe if you guys weren't doxing them, revealing their home addresses and their families, and the names of their children, they would have to protect their identities. Here's more. This is Representative Becca.
Then ICE agents with
Becca Blint? I don't know. Who cares? Democrat, Vermont.
Without visible IDs, without any official markings on them, with masks, they're acting more like vigilantes than of agents of our government. How can we even trust that these...
They're acting like vigilantes than agents of our government. That's the most absurd thing I've ever heard. Okay. They're actually enforcing the law. Okay, vigilantes are private individuals who go out and seek justice for their own. All right, these guys are actually enforcing immigration law. Very big difference.
Our government officials. It's nothing more than kidnapping. ICE agents.
These people make me so sick. We got more. Eric Swallowswell. What's he got to say? Where's Fang Fang, buddy?
I think when I have heard enough in the last couple weeks about.
Oh, you see the reflection in his glasses there? It's a ring light. This guy is using a freaking influencer ring light. Who does this guy think he is? An Instagram model?
ICE agents and wearing masks, that I think when we win the majority in the House, you're going to see enough Democrats make it a priority for ICE enforcement that they are no longer faceless. It looks too much like some 1800s bank robber or, some KGB officer in Russia, pulling protesters off the streets. And that part, it really bothers people that that's how they're conducting it. And so show us your face is going to be a part of, I think, a democratic enforcement policy in the future. I have heard enough.
Yeah, good luck with that, Putty. Good luck with that. Show us your face. Oh, Representative Dan Goldman, this guy makes me sick.
I will be introducing a bill that will prevent Homeland Security officers from hiding or concealing their identities and wearing masks. Because
try all you want, buddy. We control the House, we control the Senate, and we control the executive branch, so that bill's going nowhere.
We don't live in a country, an authoritarian country, where we have secret police who are masked, who are intimidating, who are scaring people. That's the stuff of authoritarian states. That is not the stuff of that's not how the United States operates. I will be introducing
That's how we operate now, buddy. Oh, here's Representative Jerry Nadler. They should have given this guy a riser so he could stand.
Proper.
I mean, look at Jerry Nadler. This guy is literally like the Penguin from Gotham City. I mean, straight up, this guy is the Penguin. He waddles like the Penguin. I mean, at least when he poops his pants in Congress. We've seen the video. You've seen it. I mean, remember, was it Tim Burton's Batman? I think it was a Tim Burton Batman. Anyway, let's hear what the Penguin has to say.
But these people are wearing masks and are totally unidentified, and the question is why. The question is why. It's completely improper, and again, one has to assume they're hiding something or they're hiding misbehavior, because otherwise, why would they be wearing masks and denying their identities?
Because you guys are doxing them. That's why. It's pretty simple. If you got value from this report, hit subscribe. My final thought is next. So this is what happens when virtue signaling meets federal law. Imelda Padilla thought she could play hero by allegedly tipping off illegals. Now she's facing real charges, but she's not alone. Hakeem Jeffries called for street fights against ICE. Tim Walz called them Gestapo, and according to that manifesto, he may have called for more. And Mayor Wu comparing them to neo-Nazis. Now, these aren't just words, they are incitement. While ICE agents risk their lives protecting America, elected Democrats are painting targets on their backs. They are literally helping criminals escape justice. Now, this is not resistance. This is something called sedition. And now with Trump's border bill protecting our agents and enforcing our laws, the tables have turned. So here's the question. Should elected officials who obstruct ICE face federal prosecution? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments below. Every sanctuary politician needs to understand. You can virtue signal from a jail cell. Okay? The rule of law is back. Now check out our merch. Check out our merch at shop.xnewsnetwork.com and stand with those who protect our borders. We've got Alligator Alcatraz, President Autopen, and choose your favorite member of the administration with our American Badass series. It's all there. Check it out. You might find something you like. Mrs. Pothead Kenny chiming in. Much love, Gary. Sorry, Pothead Kenny is absent tonight. I had to work a second shift. Kenny is with a good friend of ours who lost his wife. Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm so sorry to hear that. But that is something that Kenny would do. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, man. I don't even know what I would do. I would not even know what I would do. Okay. Moving into our answer. You guys said it was D. You got it wrong.
How dare you?
It was 1985. I got it wrong, too. 1985, Los Angeles passed the Frank Sanctuary City Ordinance, followed by San Francisco. Of course they did. Moving right along to our next question of the evening before our next topic. What year did Congress first approve artificial food coloring for commercial use? Was it 1906, 1938, 1960, or 1958? Sound off in the chat, comment, or poll. I'm going to get the answer after this. I think it was, I'm going to say 1938. Shot in the dark here. All right. Let's find out the answer after this, though. Let's see. Where is it? 3 and we're in 4. Okay, here we go. Something incredible just happened in American food production, and nobody saw it coming. The entire ice cream industry just surrendered to Trump's Make America Healthy Again agenda. Every major brand from Turkey Hill to the Giants are removing artificial dyes by 2027. Now, it's not government force, it's voluntary compliance because they all see the writing on the wall. Secretary Kenny revealed 40% of all food companies already joined the movement. The FDA just approved natural alternatives like Gardenia Blue after decades of pumping our kids full of chemicals. Real change is happening, folks. This is bigger than ice cream. It's about reclaiming our food supply from the poison pushers. The revolution starts in your freezer, so keep watching. And while we celebrate getting poison dyes out of our ice cream, millions still suffer from daily pain that steals their freedom. Top medical experts have unveiled Canalidine, a natural solution that's changing how Americans fight pain. 100% drug-free. Canalidine optimizes your body's natural painkillers called endorphins, providing full body relief without dangerous pills or side effects. Over 1 million Americans and hundreds of professional athletes, including UFC fighters, have embraced Canalidine's power. It's legal worldwide, certified drug-free, and backed by 14 years of clinical research. So try Canalidine for less than $1 a day. Visit trycano.com/NNN, link down below for a 90-day risk-free trial. You have nothing to lose but your pain. So, interesting thing happened. You know, Gavin Newsom, he has presidential aspirations. Everybody knows it. And where did he go? He went on the Sean Ryan podcast. And he was talking about Robert F. Kennedy Jr., spreading misinformation, claiming he was the adult in the room. Yeah, Newsom was the adult in the room. It was an embarrassing conversation. Well, here's a clip.
And so I respect Bobby, but he really turned on me early, and he flat out lied about some things.
What did he lie about?
He lied about, said, though, because Newsom got some, I got sick for 2 or 3 days, and he said it was because of a vaccine, and then he lied about what I had. He weaponized it. He misled. I was like, and I was reaching out going, brother, the hell's going on? And I saw him go down this sort of darker, people can disagree. And I'm, by the way, Make America Healthy, that's California. I've been leading that cause for decades. There's no governor, forgive me. That movement started in California. I did the Skittles ban a couple years ago. My buddy Marshawn Lynch was all pissed at me because we're going after red dye earlier than, and all the folks at Fox were mocking me. Now they're all jumping over, patting themselves on the back for leading this ever. But so I've always admired that about Bobby. But on the vaccines, I think some skepticism, absolutely. But I think that there's a lot of mis and disinformation that is really hurt public health. It's my humble opinion. And so now
this clip's circulating. Check this out. Here is Bobby Kennedy talking about the CDC's budget. This is going to blow your freaking mind.
CDC has an $11.5 billion budget. And look, almost $5 billion of that is allocated to purchase and promote vaccines, and only $20 million to study vaccine safety. That pays for a couple of studies. CDC effectively is a vaccine company. It owns 56 vaccine patents. The scientists who work for FDA and the CDC can receive royalties of $150,000 a year on vaccines that they developed. So this is the last agency that ought to be regulating vaccines. And yet we are trusting this agency with the health of our children. Here's an example of the revolving door at CDC. The former CDC director from 2002 to 2009, when many of these new vaccines were approved and many of these studies, these phony studies, were being formulated, was Julie Gerberding. She oversaw the numerous vaccine studies, many of which were recently deemed unreliable by IOM. And in 2010, she became, a year after leaving CDC, she was rewarded, let's say, with the presidency of Merck's vaccine division, which with an estimated $2.5 million in annual salary and lucrative stock options. Here's another unspoken conflict within HHS. After HHS licenses, recommends, and promotes vaccines with virtually no safety data, HHS is then statutorily required and vigorously defends against any claimant that vaccines cause harm. The Vaccine Act says in all proceedings brought by filing a petition in vaccine court, the Secretary of HHS is named as the defendant. So the HHS, because it's defending vaccine injury cases, has a built-in incentive, rather than studying vaccines for safety, to kill any studies that may show that a vaccine is unsafe. And this isn't just theoretical. This actually happens in real life. CDC...
And thank God he is the head of HHS now. Okay, let's check this out. Here's Secretary Rollins talking about the leadership at the Dairy Food Association.
Voluntary. I just want to commend the leadership, Michael and the whole team and everyone you represent at IDFA and all the dairy farmers and ice cream producers they represent for taking on this voluntary, proactive effort to eliminate the use of artificial colors in ice cream products by the end of 2027. Because of this historic partnership between USDA and HHS, and I will say it is an unprecedented partnership, but also because of leadership of organizations like IDFA and again, all the farmers and producers they represent, we are driving meaningful change to make America healthy again. I also want to acknowledge a lot of other partners, the Consumer Brands Association, Tyson Foods, PepsiCo, J.M. Smucker, Nestle, Hershey, ConAgra Brands, Kraft Heinz, and General Mills, each of which have recently made similar commitments to remove artificial colors from their products. Just last week, the Consumer Brands Association announced a voluntary commitment to encourage the makers of America's food and beverage products to remove certified food, drug, and cosmetic colors from products served in our schools by the start of next year's school year, 2026. The beauty of America is the role that private enterprise has always played, but will continue to play, and perhaps an even bigger role, in voluntarily shaping policies for the good of future generations. But I just want to commend
This is a big deal, folks. I don't think you realize how big of a deal it is. Here's RFK Jr.
We can't make MAHA succeed without the partnership of the American farmer. And our job is to help them, to open the doors, to make sure that they have adequate resources in their supply chains, and that the approvals for new chemical-free dyes are happening very quickly. And I'm going to bring on Marty McCary in a moment, and he's going to make an amazing announcement that today the FDA has approved a new blue vegetable dye, in addition to many of the other dyes that the 3 dyes that we've already rapidly approved over the past 2 months. So we are going to be there for the dairy industry. Well, I grew up in a world where milk was the healthiest thing that you could eat. There was been an attack on whole milk and cheese and yogurt over the past couple of decades, and Brooke and I, our agencies, are about to release new dietary guidelines in the next several months that will elevate those products to where they ought to be in terms of contributing to the health of our children. There's a tremendous amount of emerging science that talks about the need for more protein in our diet and more fats in our diet. And there's no industry that does that better than this industry. So I'm very grateful for this industry for stepping up, not only on this, but over the past 10 years, they've removed 60% of the sugar from milk products in school lunches. They've pledged to continue to reduce the amount of sugar in the food. But this step is an extraordinary step, and I'm very proud to be part of this.
partnership. I'm very, very grateful to the industry. There are many dairymen and women in the audience, and we met with them this morning, and it was an amazing meeting with amazing people. And we want to make it so that they're successful and that they can do what they want to do, which is to provide our children with the healthiest food possible.
Man, this solves so many problems. Here's Dr. Makari, FDA, announcing FDA approval of Gardenia Blue. It's a natural food dye.
Ingredients. Today, I'm announcing that the FDA is approving Gardenia Blue as a natural food dye with natural ingredients.
Yay! Turkey Hill CEO Andy Jacobs.
Kennedy, Commissioner. Thank you, Secretary Rollins, Secretary Kennedy, Commissioner McCary, for the opportunity to speak today about this significant voluntary industry-led commitment to remove certified artificial colors from commercially produced ice cream products. I am Andy Jacobs, chair of the IDFA Ice Cream Board and chief executive officer of Turkey Hill Dairy, one of the nation's premier ice cream brands. Today's announcement represents a commitment by dozens of individual ice cream companies, from small independent companies to family-owned companies going back generations to large multinationals. We have all come together as the ice cream industry to lead major change and to make this commitment to remove artificial colors. And you may ask, why are we taking this action today? There are three good reasons. First, many of the commercial ice cream manufacturers have already phased out certified artificial colors, and many others are currently working with suppliers to phase them out as quickly as possible. Second, by taking this step now, ice cream manufacturers are ensuring that ice cream remains a special part of our lives as consumer preferences change and the nation's regulatory priorities evolve. As ice cream makers, we want to ensure families continue to enjoy their favorite wholesome ice cream treat. And third, this is about showing consumers and our communities that we are stepping up. We know that Americans eat roughly 19 pounds of ice cream a year. Think about that. We also know that ice cream is important to our dairy farmers, our ice cream making communities, and our food retail partners. U.S. ice cream contributes almost $12 billion to the U.S. economy and supports over 27,000 dairy industry jobs. We want to ensure that we continue these bonds with our consumers and, more importantly, to grow our impact on the economy.
Keeping the pace here, let's go to their joint appearance, Secretary Rollins and RFK Jr. on Fox Business.
Daily working. And listen, this partnership we talk about a lot is unprecedented, never before in American history. Do you have an HHS secretary who is just simpatico? We talk almost daily, working together to make America healthy again. Bobby Kennedy understands more than anyone that you can't do that without American agriculture and the American farmer. Our announcement today outside on USDA steps. But to your point, Larry, USDA spends $400 million every single day on our nutrition programs, SNAP, prison programs, school lunches, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this is a market mover in terms of what we're feeding America. So being able to ensure that our farmers, especially some of our smaller farmers, have the market in which to sell their locally homegrown produce, but also working with the big dairy producers, the ice cream makers, all of the above, to get the healthiest, best choices out into America. But especially as you're talking about, Larry, 3 out of our 4 kids couldn't pass the military readiness test today. Something has to change, and Secretary Kennedy is leading the way, and we here at USDA are here to support him in every way we can. Let's
see. I think we got one more clip here. This is RFK talking about the ice cream movers.
And Larry, when we came in 6 months ago, and we said we're going to get rid of the 9 petroleum-based synthetic dyes that are in our food that cause ADHD, that are associated with cancers and all kinds of a grim inventory of other health injuries. People laughed and they said we'd never be able to do it. Well, what happened today, which is the dairy industry has now made a commitment to get rid of all dyes by the end of 2026. And some of them are already taking action. Some of them already gotten rid of the dyes. We now have, with this contribution, with this commitment, we now have about 40% of the food industry that's already made that commitment. And 35% of the food industry had already gotten rid of the dyes. So we're very proud of this public-private partnership. I'm very grateful for our partnership with Brooke and with our partnership with the industry. We cannot make America healthy again without the cooperation of the American farmers and American industry, and they are stepping up to the plate, and we're very grateful to them.
Yes, we are. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. This victory proves something crucial. When we demand better, corporations listen. No legislation forces, no executive order mandated. The ice cream industry saw Americans waking up to what's in their food and chose survival over poison profits. Secretary Rollins nailed it. 3/4 of our kids can't pass military fitness tests. We've been poisoning ourselves for decades with artificial garbage while other countries banned these dyes years ago. But Trump's Maha movement just changed the game. Natural alternatives are getting fast-tracked. Farmers are going chemical-free and getting support. Companies are putting real ingredients first. They're winning. So here's the question. Should artificial food dyes be completely banned in America like they are in Europe? Yes or no? Drop your answer below. It's not just about ice cream. It's about whether we'll accept slow poisoning for corporate profits. You can check out our merch shop, too, and join the food revolution. Real food is making a comeback. That's right. And you can support your favorite member of the administration like RFK Jr. in American Badass series. Trigger a liberal today at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Or maybe you want to support Alligator Alcatraz, or maybe you want to help us expose President Autopen. The choice is yours. Visit the link in the description. And speaking of choices, we're going to find out the answer to our trivia question. We have no super chats to speak of. We're at $24.98. We are 2 pennies away from $25 today, guys. Come on, you can do better. I know you can do better. I've seen you do better. Where are we at? Okay, the answer, 1906. You guys said 1960. I got it wrong, too. The answer is 1906. The Pure Food and Drug Act first authorized artificial colors in food. That's how government does it, though. They call it the Pure Food and Drug Act, authorizing artificial colors in pure food. Can't make this up. All right. Oh, hey, Tom B420. He has heeded the call. $2 in the jar. Putting that there. Thank you, sir. And for that, your name goes on the screen as promised. Love that, Camaro. Our next question. Which president created the Department of Education as a cabinet-level agency? A. Nixon, B. Ford, C. Carter, or D. Reagan? Oh, wasn't it Carter? I thought it was Carter. I want to say Carter. I think it was Jimmy Carter. That's where I'm going to go. That's what you guys are saying, too. Jimmy Carter. We're going to find out the answer after this segment. Weigh in the poll, comment, or chat. And we're also going to find out the fate of the Department of Education in this next segment. The Supreme Court just handed Donald Trump a sledgehammer and pointed it straight at the Department of Education. In a crushing 6-3 decision, they ruled that Trump can fire 1,400 bureaucrats immediately, and that is just the start. Education Secretary McMahon confirmed more cuts are coming as entire divisions get transferred or eliminated. And of course, right on cue, the left is having a complete meltdown. One fired staffer admitted on camera that the ruling made her extremely angry. But here's what they won't tell you. Since this department was created in 1979, we spent trillions for worse results. Literacy collapsed. Test scores tanked. Woke ideology replaced actual education. Now Trump's doing what should have been done decades ago. The education's establishment worst nightmare has just begun. So keep watching. We've got all the details. And while Trump dismantles the failed Department of Education, we need to educate ourselves about another crisis, America's bee population. You know how food costs have skyrocketed, but have you considered your natural food chain? The good people at Patriot Bee Best have done extensive research about this critical issue, and they've created an educational online digest spreading awareness about challenges that are facing American bees. Patriot Bee Best is a digital bee sanctuary for education, engagement, and real change. These veteran-owned patriots are laser-focused on restoration of both bee populations and our American Republic. And for less than 17 cents a day, you can support this show and bee restoration. Check out patriotbeebest.com to subscribe, donate, and catch the buzz. Join the Hive with promo code NEXTNEWS for 25% off, and we thank them for their sponsorship of this program at patriotbeebest.com. You'll find it linked in the description. Now, our cameras were there at the White House today. President Trump taking a victory lap before he boarded Marine One. Let's go to that moment.
Out of it. We had a big win with the Supreme Court on the Department of Education. We want, as you know, we want to bring education back to the states, take the federal government out of it. A little tiny bit of supervision, but very little, almost nothing, like to make sure they speak English. That's about all we need. We had a big win with the Supreme Court.
Make sure they speak English. Supreme Court voting 6-3 to allow President Trump to move forward with the purge of the Department of Education. The purge is coming. Here is the ruling. Sotomayor dissenting, of course. Supreme Court of the United States, Linda McMahon, Secretary of Education. Yeah, baby. Let's go. Okay, let's listen in here. Adult education, Gunter Eagleman. Adult education is now being taken over by the Department of Labor after the Supreme Court gave the Trump administration the green light to continue dismantling the Department of Education. So, portions going to the Department of Labor. Yet another area of the Department of Education is being dismantled. More winning. Let's listen to how CNN spun this.
Do that. And with such a... Well, Dana, this is essentially a green light. All systems go for the department to start winding down the agency. That, of course, is President Trump's stated goal. And it's worth looking at the numbers. 4,100 workers at the start of this year at the Department of Education. That is going to be cut in half with this Supreme Court ruling saying that the administration can go forth and do that. And with such a massive reduction, of course, education experts are raising major red flags and really setting off the alarms on how the agency can carry out its duties. So it's worth going back and looking at what exactly the agency does and what it does now. Now, the agency does dole out billions of dollars in federal grants and funding to K through 12 schools. It manages federal student loans. It investigates discrimination through the Office of Civil Rights. It researches reading and math levels, providing important data points on education systems that are in place and if they're working. It does not in any way dictate curriculum. It doesn't set it. It doesn't tell teachers in schools what to teach or certify teachers. And it does not establish graduation requirements. Those are all set in school and local school boards at the state level. It's also worth remembering here, Dana, as well, that the Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, she has been very clear that these reductions in staff, they're just one part of the larger changes she wants to see to the department. They will move many of the functions to other departments, SBA taking over student loans, special ed, HHS, and today, just a few hours ago, Dana, they announced Department of Labor will take over adult education, so effectively breaking apart, moving the functions to other agency to effectively dismantle their own. Yeah, I mean...
Well done, President Trump. Congratulations. A well-deserved victory. CNN even forced to report the news. Dana Bash, I'm sure, is heartbroken. Let's see what else is going on. Okay. Vince Langman writing, Supreme Court just said it's legal for President Trump to dismantle the bloated Department of Education. And this Karen claims it's not legal because she knows better than the Supreme Court. All right, let's go to Karen.
Nearly 1,400. Trump just got the green light to start dismantling the Department of Education. The Supreme Court let this happen, and no, this is not legal. SCOTUS lifted an injunction today that was basically blocking Trump from dismantling the education department. That means now he can lay off nearly 1,400 workers, dismantle core programs, and shift responsibilities like student loans or special education. But let's be clear, because abolishing a federal department...
No, let's be clear, Karen. You said shifting responsibilities. You made it sound like it was a bad thing. You see, they're simply moving the responsibility to another department. You made it sound bad and dirty. We know your game. Call the manager.
Need an act of Congress in order to do that. And Trump is trying to do this through executive power alone, something the law does not allow. This isn't just dangerous, it is unconstitutional. 3 justices on the court tried to stop this, mind you. They not only disagreed with this decision, but they even stated that doing this opens up the door for Trump to go in and do things illegally. And because he has the green light, he can strip down the Department of Education before the courts can legally say, hey, you're not allowed to do this. But this is how it happens. Rights don't disappear overnight. They chip away at them while we are busy. And I'm not saying this is all over, because it's not. But as someone that has a special needs kids, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what I'm walking into in the fall, and that is fucking scary. Trump just got the green.
You know what you got to do? Just call the Department of Labor. No, actually, they said, what was the Department of Labor? It was HHS. That's where you go now. You don't call the Department of Education if you have a problem. You call HHS. I'm sure you love RFK Jr. too. Regardless, let's see what else is in the hopper. Uh-oh, what's this? Another leftist having a meltdown. Ha ha! Another Karen. Oh, yeah. She looks angry. Oh, look at her gritting her teeth. Oh, wiping her brow. She's screaming into the camera. She's sitting in her car in Costco, right? Oh, my God!
Over 1,000 Department of Education? Really? Yes, the Supreme Court just ruled that the Department of Education can continue to be dismantled by Trump. I have such a thing with the Department of Education. Like, it's so important, and people don't realize how much it's going to affect public schools in this country.
Oh, how much?
Over 1,000 people are losing their jobs, okay, for...
No. 1,400 to be exact, honey.
One thing, and it's the checks and balances that's being taken away. You know how you keep people voting for you? You keep them stupid. Because education, the most educated people are Democrats. For a reason. Y'all are...
Oh, look at the face. Look at the teeth. I can see it foaming in the mouth.
Nuts! Department of Education, you know how you keep people voting for you? You keep them stupid. Because education, the most educated people are Democrats. For a reason. Y'all are nuts! Department of Education,
oh my
really?
God. That was gold. Okay. John Stossel enters the chat. The Supreme Court gave Trump the green light to keep dismantling the Department of Education. He says, good. For the federal department is largely useless. It doesn't educate a single child, and here's why we don't need it. Let's give John Stossel the mic.
Loan payments.
We will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts.
This administration's telling students, repay your loans. What a concept. If you borrow money, you have to pay it back. The previous administration said, you can let it slide.
The Biden administration is once again extending a pause on federal student loan payments.
You could miss payments and it wouldn't be reported to the credit bureaus.
Not anymore.
You must start to repay your loan.
Linda McMahon is the new education secretary. She tells students,
there isn't going to be any loan forgiveness program.
Good. College students don't deserve loan forgiveness. But I have a conflict here because I don't much like Linda McMahon. I once sued her and her sleazy husband, Vince, because of something they did to me at one of their silly pro wrestling shows. In 1984, I was doing a 2020 report on how pro wrestling is staged. And the promoters then allegedly told one of their giant employees, someone should take care of that guy.
I think this is fake.
You think it's fake? What's that? Is that fake? Huh? What the hell's wrong with you? That's open hand slap, huh? You think it's fake? You come like this in his face?
So now I'm surprised to support Linda McMahon because now she says forgiving loans isn't fair.
There's no such thing as loan forgiveness. It just gets transferred to someone else, and that's just not fair.
It's not. It means taxpayers, many of whom never went to college, are stuck with the bill.
A guy who's a welder and a guy who's a truck driver, they shouldn't have to pay off your student loan debt.
Hey, ho, ho! Student debt has got to go!
Student activists say, we're special. We shouldn't have to pay our debts.
They can go to hell because I'm not going to pay it.
Fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment.
Now the Trump administration says if you don't pay,
that could mean wage garnishment or money withheld from tax refunds and Social Security benefits.
About time. College students don't deserve special handouts, and neither do rich colleges. Look at this library. Colleges got away with raising tuition much faster than inflation because taxpayers paid the bill.
The more the federal government was involved in loans and grants for students, the more tuition increased.
The first thing you're struck by is our jungle lobby, banyan trees.
Colleges chase this taxpayer money by offering ridiculous perks.
In-house day spa. Students will come to us and say, this is what sealed the deal. It used to be reading, writing, and arithmetic. And well, we're now the 4th R, recreation.
It's about time our government stopped funding luxuries like that. And
yeah, I'd say. How about that slap, though? Who knew? All right, check this out. Oh, we got Wolf Blitzer on the case, talking to a lady who is one of the 1,400 bureaucrats who are being fired from the Department of Education. Okay, let's listen to her.
Without even explaining emotions, Wolf. First one is disappointment. I'm a lawyer by trade and live for Supreme Court decisions, at least to have reasoning. So, to have the 6 justices just allow this to happen without even explaining their decision is extremely disappointing. Then I go into anger. Anger since the beginning of this administration by the misrepresentation about what we actually do. There's so many statements about returning education to the states. But Wolf, I was a teacher. Education curriculum, teacher quality testing has always been with the states. What our department does and did was fund school districts, fund colleges, fund schools, and fund American citizens who are pursuing their education. And it is extremely anger-inducing that this misrepresentation of what we do and how important our work is.
So which stage of grief do you think she's in right now?
Perpetuating, and it's not being corrected even by the highest court of our land. And then,
I mean, look at her eyes. It looks like she's been crying. Yeah, you can see the mascara. Sad. But they should have had the department to begin with.
Then I go to sadness. I'm a recipient or product of.
Wait, what are the stages of grief? Let's take a look. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Okay.
Title I schools. I'm a recipient of Pell Grants. And I think about there will not be future needs. People who are coming from working class families who want a different way of life, who want to improve their life choices through education. This administration is making it harder. We're already seeing that because they have dismantled or laid our people off. School districts, Title I schools are not getting the grants that they need. Colleges are not getting the medical research that many people depend on. College students are not getting financial aid at all because our people are out of work. And the students that are at schools currently are not receiving the protections of the Office for Civil Rights to make sure that our tax dollars, that schools that receive our tax dollars are doing right by them.
I've heard enough. Go find the unemployment line. Supreme Court siding with Trump gives green light to continue massive purge at Department of Education. Massive loss for left-wing activists. Huge win for the children. And what's this about?
That's it, man. Don't be surprised when you send your kids off to Caesar and they come back as Romans. Like, that's it. That's it, man. You're wondering why everyone's gone woke and has no idea what bathroom to use anymore. Just if like, what happened to our kids? I'm like, well, you gave them to the government for their entire childhood. You saw them at dinner and you attended their sporting events, but the government raised your kids and social media helped and video games or whatever, but you saw them every day, but you didn't raise them. You didn't log enough hours each day to counteract all the poison and time wasting and ideological propagandistic crap that they were getting fed year after year after year. And so millennial generation and now Gen Z has gone woke. And we feel like, oh, what happened to my daughter? We raised him better than that. No, I mean this in love, but you didn't raise him at all. That hurts to say because I know it hurts people to hear. And we trusted that they were being taught good information that wasn't undermining our values. But there's been a psyop in play for decades, which is undermining our values and waging war against the family unit. Don't be surprised when you...
And that war is over. And we won. If you got value from this report, hit subscribe. My final thought is next. The Supreme Court decision isn't just about firing bureaucrats. It's about who controls your children's minds. For 46 years, the Department of Education has been a money-burning failure factory. John Stossel said it best. They don't educate a single child. They don't. They just push paper and propaganda while literacy rates crater. Now, Trump is transferring adult education to the Labor Department where it belongs. He's returning power to parents and states. The family unit is reclaiming its rightful place. And the leftists crying on TikTok? They're not mad about education. They're mad about losing control. These are the same people who push critical race theory and gender confusion instead of reading and math. So here's the question. Should the entire Department of Education be abolished 100%? Yes or no? Fire away in the comments. Because our kids deserve better than federal indoctrination. And hit up our merch shop below. Link down below. Wear your support for real education reform. Pick your favorite member of the administration with our American Badass series. Or if you want to help us expose the Autopen conspiracy, you can do so with a laugh with our President Autopen shirt. Or if you want to support Alligator Alcatraz, well, there's a shirt for that too. Go find your favorite, wear it with pride, and support the Next News Network in doing so. Linked down below at shop.nextnewsnetwork.com. Okay, looks like Tom before 20 decided to drop $2 more in the jar. You know what? I'm going to do the $2 bill this time. I love the $2 bill. I really do. There it is. Thank you, Tom B420, and your name goes on the screen to give you the credit for that. All right, let's see. What is the answer to our question? You guys said it was Carter. Correct. Jimmy Carter established the Department of Education in 1979, which began operating in 1980. That's right. All right, checking in with the main feed to see what's latest happenings. 6 hours ago, looks like Elon Musk has upgraded Starlink. That's cool. I've considered getting that for some of our mobile operations when we're at the White House. But I do know that one of our team members actually has one. We're working on some things behind the scenes, guys. What's this? Justin Bieber? No. Okay, do you guys see this? This is an actual diagram of the robotaxi network in, I believe, Austin, Texas. Yes, Austin, Texas. Elon Musk confirming this is a real map. $6.90 a ride, and this is the map. Elon Musk has a sense of humor, without question. Okay, what's this? Hills actor Spencer Pratt lost his home in the Pacific Palisades fire. Put new LA legislation Democrats passed on Grok 4. Heavily understand. Okay. Grok 4 is wildly anti-Trump. Wow. Ashton Forbes, 55 minutes. If you're watching, as Grok is unable to reply to basic inquiries about claims it makes about MH37 videos, realize that's why everyone's terrified to debate me. I love Ashton Forbes, man. Check him out. Give him a follow. Go deep dive on the MH370 videos he's done. Oh, look, it's Pencil Neck.
Accused me of, Trump has been threatening prosecution or jailing of me, accused me of various things over the years. Trump has,
and he needs to have it. Justice for him. Okay. What is this? 2 hours ago, 3 Republicans vote no on advancing President Trump's first DOGE rescissions package of $9 billion, slashing USAID, NPR, PBS, and more. Okay, of course. Collins, Murkowski, and McConnell. Wow. James O'Keefe releasing something from Johnson & Johnson behind the scenes video. You can see what's on your screen there. Check it out. I'll repost it. You can go to our X account and you can review it. Time to send a message. If you support passing Donald Trump's first DOGE rescissions package, because drop a thumbs up. All right, we'll drop a thumbs up or a heart or whatever. Oh, Ben Shapiro says there are no tapes from Epstein Island. Wow.
With third parties, thousands of hours of tape. There are, by the way, but they are child pornography. The reason the FBI is not releasing them is because those tapes do not include underage people with third parties on.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I guess you can throw Ben Shapiro out now. J.D. Vance is the MVP in the Senate. Okay, passed. Vice President J.D. Vance breaks the tie. The $9 billion DOGE cuts package advances. Yeah, baby. DOGE is getting revived. Let's see what else. Oh, my. This guy did that to her, and Democrats defended him. On sick people, man. All right, guys, I love you. Oh, El Shingon. I probably said a dirty word there, but hey, what up, Gary? Hope all's well. What up to all your awesome fans around the world? What up, what up? That's a 20 spot right there. El Shingon. Chingon? Man, I'm actually going to look that up. What does it mean? Did I say a bad word? Okay, I'm going to find out. El Chingon. Okay. All right, you want to find out? Here's what it means.
Mexican Spanish slang phrase that roughly translates to the badass, the top dog, the boss, the cool guy, the tough one. It's often used to refer to someone who is exceptionally skilled, dominant, or admirable in a tough, confident, or rebellious way. Depending on tone and context, it can be a compliment or a boast. It's informal and sometimes vulgar, so it's best used among friends or in casual settings.
Or when you're dropping a super chat. Thank you. Thank you, ChatGPT, for that breakdown. And thank you for your 20. So, Patriots, what a show we've had tonight. We started with the chaos of the White House, where our Next News team was on the scene when Secret Service locked down the North Lawn. Turned out to be a cell phone. But the real bomb was the Epstein files controversy, splitting the GOP wide open. Alan Dershowitz dropping truth bombs, saying it's judges blocking the files, not Trump. While Speaker Mike Johnson demands Maxwell's testimony and Tim Burchett calls for public hangings, others are playing procedural games. The cover-up is cracking, and we're not letting up until every name is exposed. Then we expose how FBI Director Kash Patel just launched a grand criminal conspiracy probe that circumvents the statute of limitations. Brennan, Clapper, Comey, Obama. Yeah, they all thought they could run out the clock. Wrong. Victor Davis Hanson obliterated Brennan with documented lies while questions swirl about Biden's Autopen making his entire presidency questionable. The deep state's decade of weaponization is finally facing real justice. Then we showed you the LA Councilwoman, Imelda Padilla, facing DOJ charges for allegedly tipping off illegals about ICE raids, but she is just one domino in the Democrats' war on federal law enforcement. From Jeffries calling for street fights to Walz comparing ICE to Nazis, the mask is completely off. And looks like El Chigon has just gifted, what, how many? 5 Next News Network memberships. Thank you, sir. Now, those folks, they're not critics. They are saboteurs, and now they're facing consequences. In a massive win for parents, the Supreme Court rules 6-3 that Trump can fire 1,400 Department of Education bureaucrats with more cuts coming. Since 1979, we've burned trillions for worse outcomes. Now adult education moves to labor, power returns to states, and woke indoctrination gets axed. The leftist melting down on TikTok, well, they're not crying for kids, they're crying for control. And believe it or not, we did have some good news on the food front. The entire ice cream industry just pledged to remove artificial dyes by 2027. Trump's Make America Healthy Again movement scored its first major victory as 40% of food companies joined the revolution. When 3/4 of kids can't pass military fitness standards, it's not politics, it's survival. So thank you to everyone who sent in Super Chats and Rumble Rants tonight. Your support keeps independent media alive when big tech censors and corporate media lies. Special shout out to El Chigon and to Elf of Courage, Tom B420, Miss Pothead Kenny, Curio23, all you guys for your generous contributions. Remember, the truth only spreads when you share it. So text the show to a friend who needs to hear it. And hit our merch shop, shop.nextnewsnetwork.com, and wear your defiance proudly. Whether it's Alligator Alcatraz, President Autopen, or our American Badass series, show the world where you stand. This is Gary Franchi for the Next News Network's Raw Feed, reminding you that we are the media now. They can't stop the signal. They can't hide the truth, and they definitely can't stop what's coming. We'll see you next time, Patriots, so keep on fighting. And if you're in the Chicago area, tomorrow morning, you might want to turn on Fox 32 at about 7 a.m. You might see something familiar. See you tomorrow.